All right, so if we remember percent and fraction, I need to put the percent over 100, and then I just need to simplify. So 70 over 100, you can divide by 10, which equals 7/10. Final answer. 55 over 100, 55 over 100. If I divide by 5, I'm going to get 11 over 20, or 11/20. And the last one, 38%. 38 over 100 divided by 2, which is going to give me 19/50. So those are the answers to the first 3 examples. Then if we move on to the next, 114%. So we can have a percent greater than 100. So I would do 114 over 100. Okay, so percent, we can never have a number bigger in the denominator than 100. Sometimes people want to put 200 down there because, well, it should be bigger than the numerator, but that's not the case. I'm going to change this to a mixed number, 1 and 14 over 100, divide by 2, so 7 over 50, so 1 and 7/50 ends up being my final answer. In a recent survey, 92% of John Muir Elementary staff send text on a daily basis. What fraction of John Muir staff sends text? So if I take 92 over 100, I divide by 4, I actually end up with 23 over 25 for my final answer. All right, so there is going from a percent to a fraction. Now let's go the opposite way. Let's do a fraction and make it into a percent. So remember, any number over top of 100 is a percent. So I'm going to multiply by 20. So 40% ends up being my answer. Now, 2/5 is one of our mental math fractions we're supposed to know. So hopefully you were able to see that very easily. Again, try to find it with the denominator of 100. I'm going to multiply by 2. So 22% is my final answer. And then 3/25 multiplied by 4. So I'm going to have 12. So remember, there's only so many numbers that can be in the denominator that will go into 100. So you'll be able to use that to your advantage. So we can actually, again, have an improper fraction. Well, I'm going to make it into a mixed number. 1/8 is one of my mental math fractions I'm supposed to know. So really, I have 1 and 125 thousandths. Well, I know that if I move my decimal point 2 places to the right, I can find my percent. So 112.5% ends up being the final answer. On a recent math test, Sal correctly answered 19 out of 20 questions correctly. What percent of the words did Sal answer correctly? Well, 19 over 20. I know I'm going to multiply by 5. And 19 times 5 ends up being 95. Or an easy way to think about like tests and figuring out what percent you got. If it was 20 questions, you would automatically think 5 off for each one wrong. Same way, if it was 25 questions, you could think of 4 off for each one wrong, and then you could just subtract from 100. So 95 out of 100 ends up being my final answer. Use these examples to be successful on your homework.